relationship talks with Dr. Harmony and myself, Andre Paradis, from the both sides of the United States. So, why don't you introduce
That's
yourself?
awesome. We cover East Coast, West Coast. We cover male and female. What else? What else can we do? What else?
I know, seriously, the whole dynamic, right? The whole dynamic, and through my experience, your studies, my studies, and again, here we're both here to bring clarity, to help alleviate the pain, the frustration, the confusion in modern relationships, because there's always been a male, female, man, woman, kind of collision throughout history. But now in this modern world, it's even worse, and you and I know why. But they don't know if they've not seen, they've not been privy to what used to be to what it is now. So all of this we'll try to decode, bring you some tools, bring you some ideas, bring you some concepts, kind of made you maybe think about things a little bit differently. Because what we're talking about is nature, science, biology, psychology, anthropology, right? These are the things that are in the norm, I want to say. These are things that work better. So when we understand what works better more naturally, with the modern style, in the modern world, this is really what we're going at. This is where we're going with this, right? You and I. So, Doc, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
So I'm Doc Harmony, the real Doc Harmony, and I, with Healthy Energy, Amazing Life, Heal Company, and the Queen Circle, and just been here committed to healthy relationships at work. When we have amazing energy in our life and we're just healthy and our brains are clear and there's none of that fog and confusion, it just makes it a lot better. And I think what's great, I think you have the same experience. I didn't used to always be this way, right? So I can really testify how giving it all up, really works. And what does that mean, giving it all up? Well, all those lies. And we really touched on this 2 weeks ago, didn't we? About the difference between, women and the femininity, and why do we have to be masculine to be successful? Why do we have to be masculine to be a boss bitch to be successful at work or in anything that we do? Why can't we be feminine? And I find that when I'm feminine and I'm in my proper role, which is what we're going to talk about today, because everybody gets confused about that. What? Barefoot and pregnant? Which is absolutely an amazing place to be. Anyone, if you haven't tried it. And, what's wrong with that? But that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about that proper role of energy, aren't we, Andre? That proper role of energy.
And it's funny, I have a young lady, and introducing myself. My name is Andre Paradis. I'm in Los Angeles. My company is Project Equinox. And so you guys will be able to link and find both of us, go just Google us and you'll find everything. But my job, again, like you, is to help alleviate pain and confusion and relationship dynamics in the modern world that makes everything more complicated, more difficult, more confusing, all of that. I mean, I see this every single day like you do. But I want to say something. I'm at the gym 5 days a week, and I met this young lady just a few weeks ago, 22 years old, right? And she walked in the space and literally just lit it up. I'm like, right. Feminine energy lights us up. It's a light bulb, like lighting up the whole place. She's just like sweet, right? So I went right up to her because it's really uncommon in my world, especially in my gym, right? The women are like just boss babes and trying to be all whatever. And this loved it anyway. So I go right up to her, just like, who are you? What is this light that I see in you? You're a girl, and back and forth a little bit, and she's got a good family system. Her parents are very supportive, and we're taught. This is her exact word. 22 years old. She's like, I was taught, to be and stay in my lane for my own sake. Like those are the things I actually teach my clients, right? You can be in the money lane, or you can be in love lane. You can't be both lanes. They're both going to suffer. So you have to make a decision which lane you're going to be in. Focus on the most. If you're going to do money lane, that's fantastic, that's fine, but your love lane is going to suffer. If you do love lane, you're going to make less money, but that's what I think when I say that's when men come in. I mean, we'll support all of that. So, understand, nature, again, and what works best, that's what we're talking about. So, this week, we have a nice list of topics. Every other week, we're going to come together, bring you some information. I call it dripping on you guys, dripping some information on you guys, for you guys to start thinking or rethinking or kind of reevaluating, and that's the point. So today we're talking about the confusion about relationship roles, especially in today's world. So for the man, confusion comes into struggling with mixed signals about what's expected of them providers, partners, and emotional support. Like men, like what am I supposed to, right, really bring, because the expectations are not realistic. And men come at me with, what's going on out there? Like, I don't understand what they want, right? And the other side is the pressure to figure it out, while not always having the healthy role models for emotional partnership and know-how. So for the man, I always say, if you didn't have a daddy role model who was masculine, who was a provider, who role model what a man does, lead in life, but respectfully, appropriately, right? Use the appropriate amount of power, right? Because women are afraid of men's power, but a good man uses that appropriately to provide and protect, right? So if you don't have a role model for this as a man, often there's some emulating masculinity, too much, too big, over the top, right? Trying to be masculine, and that really kind of disconnecting from, I call it daddy energy, literally. This necessary to be with a woman to create a healthy relationship and a healthy family. For the children, needs daddy energy, not the warrior killer. Right. On the other side, for the ladies, is balancing your independence with the desires for emotional security and partnership. If you're going to be independent at all costs, and then maybe later decide to be interdependent, right? These don't work so well, as you know. We'll talk about this, and then the frustration with partners. The partners, like the man, retreating instead of showing up and being present and tackling long-term commitment. Oh, we're going to go all over the place with this.
Like we talked last week, about being connected and the emotional vulnerability and how that's different for both man and woman. And really, we're just really taking that another layer deep. Yep. It's about identity confusion inside of how to be connected, inside of connection. And our hearts didn't get retrained for this, right? It's just been, like you said, there's been very few good examples, and just in fairness, I know your men are frustrated because they're like, oh, we don't understand what they want. Well, we don't either, right? I mean, that's right. I mean, I make a joke all the time, but it's so true. Women can't even say what restaurant they want to go to, what movie they want to go to, and so it goes back to being feminine and being able to make your request, share your desire, but do it in such a way that's not demonstrative or, just clear speaking, right? And I love, men are, yes, they're confused. They're supposed to be soft but strong. They're supposed to be, compassionate yet whip the bad guy's ass. I mean, my God, are we trying to create bipolar, multi-personality men or what, right? I mean, and so they're just uncertain. And I really have a lot of compassion for that because, then they start performing partnership versus embodying it, and really it's what women want is the embodiment, right? We want the embodiment. Feel safe. But you really are correct, Andre, we have been just taught to be independent, independent. And we build our own stability and then we get this voice, but regrettably, we're turning it into my way or the highway, right? I think that we see this all the time.
Absolutely.
And really our desire is to be chosen, to feel safe, to feel like someone is with us, not beside them, but we're not trained or taught or even having these conversations that you and I are having where we can learn and remember how to still be independent and interdependent. And you can testify to this, Andre, share. No man wants a weak woman. No man wants a woman that's incapable. No man. You want to know that you can go on a week-long business trip and the house is not going to burn down by the time you get home. Right? I mean, so, it's not like any good man, any strong man doesn't want an incapable woman. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is the ability to be interdependent, intertwined. And like we talked about, the two become one. What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the game. I just did a TED Talk this week. I just 2 days ago, by the way.
Congratulations, wonderful.
Thank you. That was a big deal, but that was exactly my topic. How do you integrate the masculine and feminine in the modern way that we complement each other, we help each other, we support each other? And I say this all the time. Femininity is not weak. It's the most powerful tool that you have as a woman. Like, you can bring us to our knees with your femininity, not your boss babe energy. All right, that will resist and we shut down, literally. And you think we're jerks. So it's your femininity that brings us forward. We'll provide, protect, cherish. We'll kill ourselves to keep you in that warmth, inviting energy that we delight in so much. So femininity is not weak, right? But in a culture where we used to ask little boys at 5 years old, so what do you want to do when you grow up? Right? What are you going to contribute to the world? Now we ask little girls at 5 years old, and we no longer ask the boys. Right? We shame boys out of being masculine. So this was not working. So we could flip the script in the name of, equality, fair playing grounds, whatever. I mean, the concept was good on paper, but look what's out there right now. We flipped the script on everything. Everyone's confused, right? Women say, where are the good men? Men are like, where are the good women? We're both complaining about the same thing. Because masculine men, the ones that you want, are not interested in masculine energy women, right? And when you say, ladies, like, I want a nice guy. No, you don't. The nice guy you put in the friend zone in a minute because he doesn't make you feel safe. Because a nice guy is soft, and soft men don't make you feel safe. So I always say, I say to man, and this is going to be a little weird maybe, I don't know, but I say to man, forget, you talked about women don't know what they want, factual. I says, forget trying to figure out what they want, just do what they respond to. And feminine responds to masculine energy. So, right, forget trying to decode it and asking her, which just step into your masculinity, and she naturally would slip into her feminine. So I just had this conversation with a woman who's, for the first time in her life, was in the presence of a masculine man. And like, she's now wearing pink. She likes fluffy things, right? She likes to chill out. She's like, you take the lead. Like, she went from one side to the other side, right? Kind of woke up. She learned about her trauma and read some books about how to femininity and da-da-da-da-da. And now she's in a place where now she's magnetizing the appropriate energy for building a life together. Masculine men, feminine women, and everything that comes in between, right? Because like I taught on my TED Talk, it's the back and forth and the back and forth. Some things I do are more feminine. Some things my wife does is more masculine. But we negotiate these things. We go back and forth. Ultimately, there's a yin-yang in our relationship, right? And everything else in between. So we're not talking about going back to the 50s, by the way, barefoot and pregnant and no say. That's not it at all. Right.
Well, let's talk about that, though, because I think we do have a subtle difference, and that's great, so because Andre and I really love each other, and we could have these subtle differences, and it's like, you can be masculine in the kitchen and cook some amazing, I know some men that are just amazing chefs, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is just the best food ever, and not once do I go, ooh, that was a little weak side there. Not once do I think that, right? Not once do I see it as feminine even, I just see it as a strong man that's just highly skilled and able to, be an amazing chef, right? I mean, and it's like, I know women that are amazing. So my husband and I race cars, and they're amazing race car drivers, right? I mean, and they get out of their little race suits, and they put on their little mini skirts, and drop their hair down, and these locks come out. And you're like, every man on the racetrack is like, dude, that's the hottest thing I've ever seen, right? If she took her helmet off and had a little butch haircut and put on overalls, they'd be like, okay, they'd treat her like one of the guys, wouldn't they? I mean, they would just treat her like one of the guys. It is because she's a woman. It is because she's feminine. It is because she looks dainty. And then she could get in a race car? Holy cow. And drive Road Atlanta and outrace these guys, man. That's super hot, right? So I really want to emphasize that, you don't have to be a man to be successful. You don't have, and the men don't have to be, like a woman or feminine to be great chefs or take care of children. Right, we talked about that. Your energy as a man for the children is just essential, they've already proven over and over and over that you lose a mom, it's tragic. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing untragic about it. But you lose a dad, or you don't have a dad in the home, the rate of men going to jail, being on drugs, being unsuccessful, exponentiates. Well, they just recently did a new, I don't know if you heard about this one, a new study where the women without a father in the home are ending up, they're the ones on OnlyFans, they're the ones with loveless relationships, they're the ones that can't keep a man because they've never ever had that strength. So I, as a woman, want to emphasize and really, really call for strength and masculinity and decisiveness, and of course you have to listen to us. Of course there's that partnership. That's where but it's like, if just that strength, and I really like you to hone in on that, because I think that is so important.
I mean, that's sort of what we're made of, right? We're like bigger and stronger to provide and protect. I mean, that's nature at its best, So the system, again, is yin yang, where I'm going to kill myself out there to take care of the family, right? Bring some food, bring some bacon, right? Like bring the bacon, kind of like the money, the sustainability. I'm in charge of the logistical part of life, of the machine of life to survive. On the other side, I need my wife to support the system in the way that a woman supports the system. Do you know what I mean? She's she doesn't cook. I cook, by the way. Good one. I'm the chef, right? I'm French, right? She takes care of the numbers. She's better at this. She's more detail oriented. Makes me nuts, right? So we mix it all up, kind of thing. But again, we're not the same. We complement each other in every way. So her job is really, she works less on purpose, right? Because I always wanted her to be in a relaxed space, right? When she's overwhelmed, I lose my wife. When she's anxious, I lose my wife. When she's works too much, I lose my wife, and we all lose her. The kids lose her. She comes home, she's not able to be present because she's all, you know what I mean? So I design our lives where she works part-time, and then she could also be a mom and a wife, right? And so that's having it all. And she delights in her job. She's a ballerina. She teaches 2 colleges, and she mentors young students in the world of ballet. That's her passion. She's been doing this since 6 years old. So she gets to live her dream, take care of, nurturing these students, right? And then, when I was working the 12-hour shift, my last business, she'd pick up the kids at 3 o'clock. She'd take them home, give them a snack, do their homework. My favorite memories, and I think I shared that before somewhere, maybe here. Some of my favorite memories, I used to leave the house at 7 a.m. and I roll back in the garage at 7 p.m. That was a 12-hour day, just Monday to Friday and half on Saturday, whatever. And, I know some guys who would complain about that. How come I have to work so hard? And that's the modern man who's not touched, been touched with his masculinity. No judgment, just what it is. But I always pull up in the garage, right? And I'm in California. And so, 7 o'clock in the middle of summer, it's still bright light outside, So if I pull up in my garage, right? Bah, 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 have a crazy car. Bah, 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 turn off the car, open the door, and I go, oh, what's that noise? And I could hear the 3 of them play in the pool. Oh. And I remember thinking, like, the satisfaction feeling that I had, I go, like, I did that. I provided that. And of course, she's, provides all that she provides, plus her salary kind of thing. But we created that together, but she's nurturing the children as I'm killing myself. And I'm proud of that. I am proud of that. I don't mind it. I'll do it every day, week after week, because the life that we create together is absolutely fantastic. So,
and I think that a really good point, though, to really remember for the women that are taking that on, that doing everything, they're not marrying men, they're not committing to men that, are willing to be a provider, willing to go that extra mile, takes pride in that, right? They get so burnt out. It might be cute. It might be cute for the first, 6 months, 6 years, however long that woman can last. But she is just going to run out of energy. Right. We are just not designed to be the breadwinner, to be the provider, to be the nurturer, to have the children, to do, and this feminist lie, oh, you can do it all. Sure. No. At what expense and at what cost? And I will tell you that every single female, I love the story that you shared about the woman who finally was with a real man, right? In a masculine energy. Every female that I have worked with, that has been in the Queen Circle class, or I have given consultation for, every woman that has let go and said, okay, I trust you, I respect you, I appreciate you. It is like in 6 weeks they're calling me, they're going, oh my God. First of all, they're so stress-free. They're so happy and delighted. They're like, this is the best gift I have ever gotten. I mean, they are knocked off the rock. And then I always wait for this, Andre. They go, and it's so sexy. And I'm like, right. Of course it is. Of course it is.
It's funny because I want to say this. I love the fact that you're in the world of race cars, right? We're talking about women working like men, right? That burns you out, kills you, right? And because actually, if you're going to have it all the way the culture is telling you, you have two full-time jobs. You work 40, 50 hours a week trying to make a salary. Then you come home, job number two kicks in. You know what I mean? Taking the nest, the children, the rides, two full-time jobs. Twice a year, I promise you, twice a year, some woman calls me and she's like, I need your help. Something's wrong. I go, what's wrong? She goes, well, I have everything. I have a 6-figure job. I work, I'm blah, 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 blah. She goes, I have a husband. I have 2 children. I have a beautiful house. We have the life. I go, what's the problem? She goes, well, I'm feeling hollow. I'm disconnected from my own spirit, right? I'm not present. I'm unable to be present, right, with my family, with my kids. I'm exhausted. I come home and I can't even be there. I'm exhausted. My job is starting to suffer. My family still suffers. I see that. What is wrong with me? I have everything that everybody says I should have. And I go, honey, you have 2 full-time jobs. It's unsustainable. Unsustainable. Right? So you have to make a choice and adjust somewhere. But back to the energy and talk about the nature of a woman's body. Are you ready? My favorite analogy, and again, the fact that you're in the world of race cars, it'll fit right in. So you're familiar with Formula One race cars, right?
Yes.
For the ladies listening, if you're not, it's like, it's the 4 tires with the guy in the middle and the engine behind him, right? It's not a stock car. It's like this 4 tire. These cars go 200 miles an hour, but these cars are propelled by jet fuel, not regular gasoline, jet fuel, right? So in a nutshell, that's a man. Our physiology is with testosterone. We're race cars pumped with jet fuel that makes us able to fight, push, compete, force, go, right? For days, for weeks, for months at a time, to compete, to push, to get ahead, right? We're built for this, like a Formula One race car. Now, we invite you ladies in the race. Come on, girl, you can join the guys. You can be one of the guys, right? But you rolled onto the the racetrack in your Toyota Camry 4-cylinder, right? And you get in the race, of course, absolutely. You go, girl. We invite you in. But you're gonna floor that thing. You're gonna do a bunch of loops, and then the engine's gonna explode because it's not built for that, and it's not built for that kind of. In a nutshell, that's what I call the difference biologically between men and women. We have the testosterone to do it. You do not. So you end up living and pushing and competing with adrenal energy off your adrenal glands. So it's a squirt. Every time you need every time it's a squirt in your bloodstreams. And eventually that not only burns you out, but it opens you up to all kinds of sicknesses. All my ladies in their 40s plus that live that kind of lifestyle have some kind of ailment. From little to like terrible, like cancer, right? In the name of, the new modern way to do a living, women are burning out. And by the way, in that burnt out, exhausted, anxious, not present, right? Don't know who I am right now because my body's hollow and empty. This is when you lose us.
Well, I'm so glad you said, God, we're just so synchronicity. It's just amazing. Women are leaning in for clarity, consistency, and presence, right? But because they're so exhausted, it's not coming through genuine. It's not coming through authentically. It's coming through almost like desperate or not even desperate, just like needy or demanding and then the man steps back because he's like, whoa, how do I manage this without me drowning or losing myself? And then there's this vicious cycle: pursuit, withdrawal, misinterpretation. And the problem is menopause is starting to hit around 40 anywhere between 35 and 45. We're losing our juice, i.e. estrogen. Men are not losing their juice, so they're the same. I think you've said this 100 times, Andre. You marry the man, he's the same thing 50 years later. He hasn't changed. The woman, she's gone through 50 cycles. I mean, like, who knows how we're going to end up and be like, right? And let me deviate for a second. That's the greatest gift your man will ever give you, is that opportunity to evolve and grow and discover. The best gift, one of the best gifts my husband has given me, is just to stand for the commitment for our relationship, so strong, so solid, so firm, that I had the opportunity to grow and develop and become this better version of myself, because this foundation of love, this foundation of just, my gosh, he just thinks I'm just the best thing that ever happened. But most women really end up in resentment. and
Right.
silence
Overwhelm.
based on assumptions. Oh, he doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't want me anymore. He doesn't care. Yes, he does. He's just confused.
Right.
He's as confused as you are if you would
Right.
be honest. And the other thing, and I'll end with this because it's just horrible. Women are not getting the help and having the conversations that they need. They're not having honest conversations. They're not this is what I hear. I'm sure you have certain things that you hear from the men all the time. This is what I hear all the time. Why do I have to change?
Yep.
Why do I have to change? Well, I don't know, because what you're doing's not working. I mean, like, you want me to become a butterfly? I'll be a butterfly. You want me to stand on my head? I'll stand on my head. I will do whatever it takes because I love my husband. I love my relationship. 24 years later, we have a sacred aspect to it that would not have happened with all the grit, the grind, the conversations, the tribulations, the ups, the downs. People ask us all the time, what is the super glue? Well, it ain't the trips. It's not the good times. Right. It's the forgiveness and grace.
Yeah, conflict
that was
resolution
given during the difficult times. So, I mean, we really are in a generation where no one was properly taught how to meet each other, right? And I know you really talk about that a lot with your men.
No, absolutely. So I just want to go back to why do I have to change line, right? It cracks me up. So I'm going to say this, ladies, with all the love in my heart, do not get triggered. I'm on your side. I'm not trying to trigger you. I'm explaining.
He is.
I'm explaining how things show up, turn out, why you ask questions like this. So why you have to change? It's not that if it's not working for you, right? Typically, what's happening is you're approaching the man in a way that's disrespectful. And when you approach a man disrespectfully, and again, it's a little bit tedious, something I teach the women, because you don't know what disrespect a man you're not aware of, because it doesn't disrespect you. The same way that we hurt your feelings and you think we know what we're doing, we have no idea. Nobody I know who's normal wants to hurt his girlfriend's wife's feelings. Like, that's ridiculous, right? But we don't know what hurts your feelings because we're not wired that way. You don't know what disrespect does. Do you know what I mean? So my point is, when your man feels disrespected, unbeknownst to you, we shut down, we pull back, we stop talking, right? We go numb. And then you feel like, oh my God, he's not present anymore. He's not, right? Oh my God, right? And then instinct kicks in with, I think he's trying to leave me. I don't know what he's thinking about, but obviously doesn't like me, doesn't want to talk to me,
Mm-hmm.
That's not working. Mm-hmm. So again, understanding whether, by the way, it's not, it's whoever is in pain the most that has to change and learn this. Because sometimes men come at me with, I had one, this is months ago, and he's like, I need your help. My lovely wife for 10 years, right? She was always sweet and supportive and just the love of my life. And I came home and she's like, hi, babe. He goes, now I come home, right? She looks at me. She goes, oh, it's you. Rolls her eyes and goes in the kitchen. He goes, she hates me. But he says, I don't understand. I go to work every day. I come home every night, right? I bring the bacon. I do everything right. Take care of everything. Like, it's just like the car, the house, right? I don't cheat. I've never cheated. Like, I'm the good guy. Why does she hate me? And I'm like, you poor bastard. I want to say, like, I promise you, because we're men and we don't understand a woman's, wiring system and operating system. I go, I promise you, I could guess it. She feels like, you take it for granted. You don't see all the stuff that she does in the house. You don't really talk to her anymore. So she feels disconnected and unsafe. Danger for a woman, right? So, and you come home, but you kind of not really with her, like that. So everything that she needs to be good and safe, you stop doing, not because you're a jerk. I know you're tired. I know you work all that stuff. But what she needs is what you don't provide. So you have to. And there was 8 things that he was doing off, and it's like, wow, do I have to change all this? I go, yeah, dude, right? Because he's the one suffering. He called me, not her, right? So if it was the other way around, I'd do the same thing, right? I don't. He doesn't respond to this. He fights with this. I'm trying to tell him he changed. He gets mad. He walks away, right? Then you have to learn. But I want to say this in a nutshell, right? We don't get our feelings hurt. We get disrespected and we push back. You get your feelings hurt, and now you want us to change because we're the reason why you got hurt. Mm-hmm. So this is like, right? So you put that on us to change, and you want us to change because we made but we don't understand what that is, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say understand. I want to say change your approach, but like I said, women nag men to act different to help better. I mean, how does that work out for you? Nagging doesn't work, right? So start demanding and commanding him and push him around.
No.
That doesn't work. Start mothering him. That doesn't work, right? Start pushing him around. That doesn't work. So everything that your frustration turns into in order to make him act different or act right or change is exact opposite of what works. So that would be a very smart thing to do, to learn that. And we go back to, why do I have to change? Because you don't know, you don't have those tools. So it's not changing, it's learning. So again, both sides have to learn depending on who's asking for help. So if you're suffering more and he seems to be aloof, maybe you should look into it.
But I think what you just said something really important. It's not, we're really not changing. We're really just redeeming our personality. We're
Adjusting.
just we're really not going to do, but we're just learning new tools, right? So I'm going to use that. I'm stealing one from you, Andre, again.
Steal it.
And it is, you don't have to. You just have to learn new tools. Your husband loves you, and that's the one distinction. A man will stay. It's very rare nowadays that a man files for divorce. 80% are filed by women. And because they're missing this conversation, and you really hit on a lot of, if you're dating out there, we should drop these questions I'm getting ready to say in the chat and let everybody, because it's like, what does partnership actually look like to you? Who's having that conversation? When you say support, what does that feel like in real life? And then you take those two and you put it together. What do you need from me to feel secure? And what do I need from you to feel respected, right? So we're covering what women just want to feel safe and secure. At the end of the day, safe and secure. And then a man wants to feel appreciated and respected. So having, before getting married, before getting involved, before even sleeping with someone that you think is a long-term commitment, please ask this question. What do you need to feel, if you're a man, what do you need from me to feel secure? And if you're a woman, what do you need from me to feel respected? But don't get involved and then not give respect because you don't like the lifestyle or you don't like the way he's being. Well, and the other thing I would really want to note on is learning from these types of conversations, Andre. When I go to my husband and I say, may I share? First of all, I always ask, is it a good time? Are you hungry? Are you tired? No. Is this a good time to talk? I think it'll take about 10 minutes. That way he knows I'm not going to belabor him for 2 hours and waste his time, right? And so, and I go, this, and this rarely happens, but this hurt my feelings. And, and sometimes, he doesn't get it. Like you just said, they don't get it. He's like, look at me and give me that look.
Why does that bother you? You should let that go. It's kind of silly, right? You're too sensitive, right?
Right.
that, by the way, man, that's what's not working. Don't ever do that.
And don't say that. Don't ever say
that.
Being too sensitive.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I just say, well, let's look at it from the other, turn it around. And normally, that's all I have to do is just say, hey, if this situation was, the shoe was on the other foot, and he goes, oh, I never looked at it that way.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have given him the opportunity, which is respect, right? That's respect, to just clean that up. And it has never happened again. When I have come to him cleanly, with clear communication, it has never happened again. When I've come at him like, what were you thinking? Oh my God, I would never do that. Yada, yada. Guess what, ladies? It's happened again and again. Because you don't hear that, right? So I think it's just in that question, really figuring it out.
I call it having each other's back, right? I was talking about this yesterday. Like the people who succeed in a relationship, regardless of, orientation, by the way, which is just very interesting to me, right? But people who succeed in long-term relationship, healthy, happy relationship, long-term, right? Thriving. You ready? Each partner has the other one's back first. Mm-hmm. I want you to win, and you want me to win. Mm-hmm. So that brings a whole different dynamic and questioning. Do you know what I mean? So if I want, instead of getting mad at you, instead of me trying to change you and make you act right, correct you, right, for my comfort. Do you know what I mean? Because we tend to do this at each other. Because men will say you're too sensitive. I can't tell you anything. You need to relax and let that go. You want to kill us when we do this. On the other side, women like, he doesn't care, he doesn't talk to me, gives me one man surge, he's shallow, he's cold, he doesn't love me. That's not it. We're different, right? Got to think. So having each other's back is literally kind of like, what do I have to do and be for you to be good? Because that's my interest is for you to be good. Because when you're good as a man, right? When my wife is good, if you're good, I'm good. If you're happy, I'm happy. If you're at peace, you bring me peace. And we'll kill ourselves, right? In order for you to stay in that energy, because that's what actually lifts our spirit. So tell us how you feel when things feel bad, respectfully, kindly, quietly. Don't yell, don't scream, don't demand, don't command, don't dig your heels, don't attack. You attack a man, you're forgetting you're attacking a warrior. He's going to push back, and even if you're right, you're going to lose. That does not work, right? So approach him kindly, respectfully. Do you have a second? There's something that happened yesterday. I didn't like it. Kind of hurt my feelings. I don't know if that's what you meant, but that's how I took it. And he's going to go, what? And you're going to repeat it, right? Because he's got to remember it. Because it hurt your feelings, but that was 24 hours ago, right? Don't wait too long. Don't wait 3 days, 5 days. He's not going to remember it, ever. And then you really think he's a jerk. Because you remember very well, right? So that's, again, know your audience, right? So go after, shortly after, when this happened, when you said this, made me feel like this, it hurt my feelings, I didn't like it, right? If you could, help me understand, if that's really was your intention, right? That's respect. And again, you're pointing the finger at you, not trying to point the finger at him. Like he has to change you. You tell him how you feel. A natural man, provide, protect, cherish, give support, wants you to be good, wants you to be happy, because when you are, he is. So that triggers his instinct to provide and protect and to be the hero. Hello, right? And you go, right? And then when you do this, you get two results, right? Either he didn't pay attention and he missed it, right? And we do it all the time. I'll constantly forget stuff. And my wife's like, really? How many times did I tell you? I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, it's not important to me, so I forget stuff. You know what I mean? It's not on my radar. But when that hurts your feelings, because if you really care for me, you would remember, okay, got it. So I'm sorry. I'll try to do better. So you get an apology and or an explanation of what happened that nothing to do with what you concluded, right? What I was doing, I'm so sorry your feelings hurt. That's what I was, I get, that's what I was thinking as I was doing. So I didn't mean for you to take that personally. I was explanation, an apology, and then you could put it behind you. This is what healthy couples do. If you have each other's back, you approach each other respectfully, kindly, right? He gets to cherish your feelings. You get to respect his brain. Two different machines come together, and then clean it up, as opposed to attack, push, come, like we just said.
Totally agree. And I think that the last few things, really women stop competing with your husbands.
Right.
Competing and it doesn't work. I just really look and relish what my husband is so great at, right? And just really concentrate on that. And then he just really looks at what I'm so great at. And the tit for tat doesn't work either, does it?
It does not.
When a woman says, I forgive, but I never forget, you might as well just get divorced right there and then, because it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I am an imperfect human being. My husband is an imperfect human being. And trying to pretend like either one of us is perfect in an imperfect world is a setup for failure. Absolutely. And without forgiveness and without grace, nothing is possible. Nothing is possible. And I think that, loving my husband and being loved by my husband because of my imperfections, with my imperfections, that is way more powerful than some dude who thinks I'm so cute or hot or something and love. You know what I mean? Like, that's shallow in comparison. When here's my husband who knows me, knows my flaws, probably even better than I do, to be honest, and loves me so. He just loves me so much, in spite of it.
As you are. So if I may just jump in here, because it's a perfect opportunity, I think. Again, a little teaching moment, ladies. Loving you, all of you. But get this, as a man, when we get to know you and we decide this is my woman, right? I know her quirks, her little kind of ridiculousness here and there kind of thing, right? But if there's no deal breaker, when we decide to take you on, to marry you, to make you ours, we buy the whole package. We buy you with all whatever it is that somebody might call flaws. Like my wife has this thing where if you cut her off, right? If you cut her off, like in a conversation, like she will snap at your butt so fast, because that was her modeling in when she was a kid. She has 5 older brothers, so she always got run over. So if you run
Oh.
her over, man or woman, right? She'll give you 1, 2, 3. She'll say, "Can I finish my sentence?" Do it again. Snap. Right now, I love, like you said, right? Those quirky things. I freaking love it. Like I've seen her do it at work before, and I see the wind up. Oh! And my friend Vinny, Vinny, watch. She's about to lose it. Watch. It's hysterical. Watch. She's gonna lose it right now. Like the guy's really asking for it, right? Like, and I see it coming, but I think it's funny. Right? I don't make her wrong for that. That's part of her life. That's part of her set, whatever, right? So, again, quirkiness, and so as long as it's no deal breaker, us men buy you complete. We don't try to change you. We know who you are. We don't try to change you. Men marry hoping she won't change. Women marry hoping she will change him or he will change, right? So what happens, again, back to hurt feelings, right? We buy you complete. You buy us conditionally because it's good until it's not good. And then, he needs to change. He needs to chat. He needs to change. That doesn't make me feel good. I don't like it. Right now, becoming mothering, which is a kiss of death. So, again, instead of trying to change him per your comfort and your feelings, tell him what hurts your feelings, invite him into that space, and watch him just step right up and fix it for you. You can't boss him around. You can't mother him. You can't demand. You have to invite, and the guy who loves you will adjust. Because, again, when you're good, I'm good. When you're happy, oh, good Lord. When you're at peace, bring me peace. And I want to come home to you as opposed to go, oh, I wonder what kind of mood she's in.
Right.
Just see the difference? It's your choice, really. It's 2 different lives. Same guys, same setup, 2 different lives.
I agree.
Which one do you want?
You said something really important. My husband and I have been talking about this, and we're going to have to save this for another podcast because we're at our time.
Yes.
But how does it? We've been really working on the whole mothering thing.
Oh, yeah?
I found myself lately going, I'm not mothering you. I'm just trying to help you and remind you to get your back. So it's like,
which is mothering.
Right. So we really need to talk about that and do some real live examples. So the next couple of weeks, maybe I'll write down some examples. It's like my husband is very untimely. So I'm like, babe, you have like 15 minutes. I'm not mothering. I'm just trying to help you, and it's so funny. And he laughs, because he's like, okay, babe. And I'm like, okay, but there is, and I asked him, and this was really serious. I said, driving is a really good example. Hey, babe, do you see that car? Or stop, something like that.
Right.
Wonder if I didn't say that and he didn't see it. That was kind of like my question, right? Wonder if I didn't get his back because I didn't want to be mothering. You know what I mean? I think that's a great conversation with some real live examples.
Oh, I got a bunch for you. I have a bunch, and right down to what mothering looks like, phrase after phrase after phrase.
Okay.
Because again, unless you understand it, man, the reason why it's disrespectful, right? Like it's sort of like a natural, like you want to help, you want to make him aware, you want to make sure that he knows, you don't want to take risks, you want to be safe, right? And yeah, there's a bunch of really good tools that we can bring forth with that topic. So I have it written down. Next time we talk about what mothering looks like, why it doesn't work, why it's insulting, and how to do it differently for better results. As because all these things will pop up, but if you panic and you jump at him, you're gonna get instant pushback, and you're gonna think he's a jerk. No, he's just a man. You have to approach him in a way that works for men, and I call that Manglish. I teach Manglish. Understand the language of man and respect, something that most aren't aware of. So that said, darling, thank you for another great episode.
Amazing, so much fun, and I just think it's just so delightful, and just what great conversations. And if nothing else, I know it just keeps me and my relationship just much healthier, much more whole, much more complete. Just the reminders of it all, right? Just the ability.
And to continue to do what works, as opposed to constantly colliding against what doesn't work and thinking the other person is misbehaving. That's not it. No. 2 different machines, complementary, not competing. That's the difference. Right. If you come complementary, you dance together. If you compete, you fight together. It's really that simple. That said,
all right,
I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
This is Andre Paradis, and what was the title today?
The title was
Real Talk.
Yeah, I know it's Real Talk, Real Relationship Talk, with Andre and Dr.
Harmony.
Dr. Harmony. So yes, with that, in a couple of weeks, we'll do one more, and we'll talk all about mothering. Dum dum dum. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Ciao.
See you soon. Bye.